So you started to see people change the way they work, became more competitive. People became more. Oh,
Definitely.
wow.
I mean,
okay.
trying to at least protect their
rice
portfolio.
bowl.
Yeah, rice bowl. Their portfolio. Like even they are very stretched, right? They will say, I think I still can handle this.
Welcome back to the Work It Podcast. My name is Nat, and with me as always is my co-host Gerald. Gerald, today we are going to be talking to two retrenchment survivors to see what it was like working through uncertainty and how a retrenchment can change relationships and the work for those who are left behind.
So these are the people who didn't get let go.
Yes.
And they still have to pick up the bulk of the work.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
So we're going to get into that, but our two guests today are Desmond Au
Hi.
and Ashwin Lee.
Hello.
Paint us a picture pre-retrenchment.
Everybody was quite happy, I think, doing business as usual, right? And back then, because I work in a tech company, right? A lot of companies in the similar industries, they are retrenching people actually at that point of time. And our company actually mentioned, hey, we'll be protecting the house.
They said that. They said that they'll protect the house.
Yeah, they said they will protect the house. And that gave a lot of employees the confidence that, hey, this is the right place to stay and all that kind of stuff, right?
Joe didn't see this was coming. Everything looked stable.
Everything looked
from
stable.
The outside.
And leadership was great. And the general mood was pretty good, right? Yeah.
And then when the hammer fell, did that all change?
It came at a surprise, right? And like a sombering surprise that, hey, no, we are not that different from what's happening out there.
Yeah, it's crazy how much I can relate to our friend Desmond over here because it was almost like the same thing, right? So for that company I was working for back then, the CEO, the head honcho himself from the US came to visit our office in Singapore, which was like over 100 people by then. So it was growing. And yeah, we hired a bunch of new people too. I remember there were folks that I was, that I was working with who just joined like 2 months in. I even had a teammate who joined for just about 3 weeks, and everything was new. It felt like there were positive signs. The company was growing, and the CEO came to, give a good rally speech and just really get everyone's morale like really high. So nobody saw it coming. 2 weeks later, how the script just flipped, and over half the people, I remember it was like a good 60 or 70% of my colleagues were just suddenly laid off like that.
So walk me through that day one when retrenchment news hit your company. What was the general vibe like at your workplace?
There was like a cold and eerie silence. The next day when I walked into the office again, it just felt very different. I'm just not used to seeing so many empty tables. You walk into the doors and you often hear a lot of like chatter, chit chat, calls happening or whatever, and suddenly it's just a lot quieter. And I'll always remember that we had a very sweet receptionist lady who survived the retrenchment. She'll always be so like happy greeting us, at the door every day. And that was the first time that I walked in, the first and only time that I walked in and just saw her like just in tears. Like at the front desk, she was just crying. She couldn't hold in her emotions. I think she just got to know some of us well, right, over the course of the time we were there, and just not being able to see a lot of familiar faces, probably hit her really hard. And just seeing her emotional like reaction, really, it also really like hit me, and like, wow, like this is so serious. Like this is crazy.
You've kind of shed light on what was in your head, right? But was it the same for your colleagues who also survived?
We hear about like the 5 stages of grief or something like that, right? So I think like first stage, like I wouldn't say it's denial, but rather just processing it and just trying to, think of like, why is this happening? What now? I think, like definitely for the first couple of weeks, like a lot of people were just like kind of shell-shocked and just processing.
Did your managers, were there supervisors around to talk to you all about how work was going to be reallocated and to reinforce certain messages of that work has to still be done because you guys are still reporting to work, right?
Fortunately, my manager, who was pretty new at that time too, I think about a few months in only, he was there, and it was close to the weekend. I think it was a Thursday or Friday, and he just called us into a meeting room in the morning and said, "Hey, I understand, like, this is really a lot for you guys to take. Just take the day off. I mean, just go back and just rest, give yourself some space to breathe, and come back next week and we'll figure it out." So yeah, it wasn't just like business as usual right away. I thought it was very nice, very human.
Desmond, was it the same for you as well?
Everybody was a little bit worried as well, because everyone in the team, including the one that let go, right, is they are parents basically of young children. So definitely some level of survival mode kicks in, and trying to show yourself to that you're going to be much more productive. And obviously with AI coming up and all that, right, and the company is pushing everybody to learn AI and stuff, we're all trying to be at the forefront of all these things.
So we started to see people change the way they work, became more competitive. People became more. Oh,
definitely.
wow.
I mean, trying to at least protect their
rice
portfolio.
bowl.
Yeah, rice bowl. Their portfolio. Like even they are very stretched, right? They will say, I think I still can handle this.
Wow, it really doesn't sound like a sustainable thing, right? Because everybody is trying to justify their own position. The workplace, I don't know, the morale. I mean, from what I've heard from other people before, some of them wish that it was them who would let go, because they rather take the package or whatever they're given to go and look for something new, rather than to stay back and face this whole, like, take on other people's work and then after that live in this fear with no certainty.
The funny thing is, within our colleagues, we always joke, say that, you've been staying here for what, 4 or 5 years, and me like 4 years, her like 3 years, and all that kind of stuff, right? I think let's just wait for the day lah, right? Wait for the day we get a package and let's go. And I always told our compensation and benefits leader, I say, if anyone is the one that retain people from leaving, right, it's actually you, because the benefits is really very good. Right? All families, medical, all is covered. Right? For someone with young children, right, that's very
important.
important.
Was this the same kind of vibe that you were seeing, Ashwin, when you were, your company at the time was going through layoffs and you were kind of left behind? Was that kind of what you observed as well?
My team back then was like a pretty entry-level team. So a lot of us were early in career, right? So to be exposed to this, I think it really shaped our mental framing of like what a career in tech could look like. The instability of it that could follow is just something you have to stomach, if you want to be in this industry. So I think I noticed like a lot of my teammates just like maturing. Yeah, I mean, we all matured from that. And the other thing was like, we were also like kind of had a consensus in our team, right? That, hey, we don't know when the next layoff will happen. We don't know how long we have here. Like, time is limited. Why not we just maximize this time and learn as much as we can? Yeah. So I think it was really great how like the team, the manager, not just the manager, but my teammates as well, rallied around each other. I remember even myself and, my more senior colleagues just being a lot more like helpful, right? And checking in more with the junior colleagues, saying, how are you guys doing? What do you guys want to learn? And, as a team, we all started to just grow and improve together. So we actually became more collaborative.
This is the part where we see people wising up.
Yeah.
I think for many people who never been through retrenchment before, the first time that they go through this, right, they start to learn how to respond to it, and then they realize that, hey, the feeling that your rice bowl can just be broken like this, it makes them really wise up a lot more to think for themselves, how should they deal with this and protect themselves a bit better, to think longer term, right, in terms of the skills investment and how they're going to use their time. Don't just be a yes man, but you really start to think about, what am I doing? Is this task going to help me to strengthen my value proposition? Or am I just doing the work that the company asked me to do? I think it's a very big difference, right?
I saw this in startups also, take place in a different way, where, in these startups where oftentimes the oldest people are like in their late 20s to early 30s, they have this whole treating of the colleagues as a family. And I feel like that goes away very quickly after the first retrenchments hit. Suddenly, everybody used to be hanging out after work, didn't care about the 9 to 6. You come in whenever, but you also leave whenever, and that can be like twice the number of hours that you would work normally in a day. The moment retrenchments hit, everybody's going home on time, everyone's coming in maybe even late.
Yes. Because you spend so much time together working as a team, there's this feeling that you're family, you know, and then the illusion is gone. This family can be destroyed, like can be split, man. Exactly. So you start to realize that it's a wising up, it's a waking up. That this is a job. There's a reality here. There's a contract here, and people are here to do work.
Ashwin, you talk about the days following retrenchment a little bit more positively. What was it that your manager did differently that makes you look back and not think like this was a total disaster?
My manager was two things, right? Like a really good human being, and also really proactive in seeing how he could help us. I was given more opportunities to diversify my portfolio, as in I started to even like contact prospects in Indonesia and Thailand, which were markets I wasn't handling previously. I felt that it was really good exposure, and it really helped me grow at that time. So
so you were in your manager kind of took the opportunity to push you for growth as opposed to make you think it was just small work, right?
Yeah, learn what you can, basically. Learn what you can from this. I think that was the mentality that, like he grilled into the team. And I guess that really comes from like a growth mindset.
Did things ever normalize? Like it went back to just the day-to-day from before the retrenchment? Did you ever feel like things went back to normal?
Nothing can replace those voices who no longer there, right? It's just, like I said, the office is just a lot quieter, and some people would maybe just prefer to like work from home a bit more, like maybe because their friends are no longer really in the office. So some people start to give more, some people naturally maybe start to check out a bit. I mean, everyone has their own way of reacting to it. It's no right or wrong. But I wouldn't say that things ever went back to the same. We just had to like take on a new normal.
So at what point did you start thinking, maybe I should have a plan B? I don't want the axe to fall on me the next time there's a retrenchment.
For me, like where I was looking at it was from like, do I still have the opportunity to advance in this company? To the next, get that promotion to that role that I really wanted to do. And maybe they were starting to think that we should structure APAC a bit differently, like restructure. So the role that I wanted, suddenly wasn't just a step away. It felt like it was 2 steps away. They put like another like role between that, like a half role. When I learned that, I decided to, start to look elsewhere.
Gerald, I wonder whether, the picture that Ashwin painted, where even weeks, months after the retrenchment, there seemed to be this lingering effect where even his promotion was getting delayed because they were creating new roles in between the existing ones. Is that something you see often?
Yeah, I think after retrenchment or restructuring takes place, usually things are a bit messy. Very messy. Work priorities, work goals, and strategies all have to be redone. Right. So the pathways are just not so clear. Right. The role, even something that you want, may not actually be what you want after the whole revamp. Many people that I think about, they would be more wondering whether they want to still stay in the company because they feel like something has been broken. They feel like something has been broken, and even no matter how you see people of all levels, they fall. And they are no longer there. So the question is, how long do I want to be in this company rather than what do I want to do in this company?
So, but do the recruiters or hiring managers see retrenchment survivors differently? Is there a certain lens through which they see them, or is it kind of just like any other person applying in the market?
If today the retrenchment is made public, they would kind of know that, okay, people are starting to send their resumes out, and then they see, oh, you're from that company that was letting go, right? They might assume that you, if today you are still working there, they would know why you're wanting to move, and that's totally okay also.
Okay,
there's no taboo.
No, it's not a detriment to people looking for another way out. Okay.
And I do think that even these days, people who have been let go, those who didn't survive the retrenchment, I think even the taboo of retrenchment, it's also much, much, much lesser. Because we're starting to see the rate of restructuring being so fast, good people get let go.
Yeah. Desmond, I understand that you eventually were cut from the company as well. Could you talk a little bit about how you're feeling maybe weeks or days leading up to you finally getting the call and how you reacted in the face of it?
Just came back from a holiday, and 2 days later, in my one-on-one meeting with my regular cadence with my manager, that was used as the call to let me know about that I'm being let go. Yeah. So it was a little bit obvious lah, right? Because my manager came in early on and I also joined early on, right? And usually my manager will be very chirpy and and all that, but suddenly turn the camera off. I said, this is weird. Not the usual stuff.
Right. But do you feel like because you survived the first round of retrenchment, you kind of saw how things played out, that you were more prepared when it came to your turn to get laid off?
I guess so, in a way. Actually, when the first retrenchment hit, right, that period of time, before that, they were hiring for, in Singapore, right, employee relations person.
So you could kind of see the signs.
I was thinking, okay, very interesting. Why suddenly you hire this person? Yeah, and then that thing happened. Yeah, and we're kind of prepared lah. So my colleagues, we all kind of like, I guess, prepared for it, and because all of us are with families, right? So we definitely we still stay on. Hopefully, right? Because we stayed for work in the company for quite a long period of time, so we hopefully can get a severance pay and all that kind of, if it really happens. Because how whether you go to the next company, would the same thing happen? Maybe the next company it's not stable either. Also, because sometimes they want to go on planning the head count to hire and all that. Suddenly, someone from up there just say that, okay, we're gonna pause.
It's so true what he just said, a bit of deja vu, because I did find like the role I wanted in a new company, and I left that previous company where I initially survived the retrenchment, right? However, my the company that I moved on to, they shut down the whole Singapore office and laid everybody off. Just 6 months into my time there. So really to what Desmond said, right, to his point, like these kind of things are so unpredictable and it's often just out of our control. Like you don't have a crystal ball to map out what the next year looks like, right?
Just to round off our conversation, maybe a question for the both of you, because you have this benefit of hindsight now that this has happened to you. Do you think you would do things differently now knowing how things eventually unfolded?
I think one thing I've learned like through all these retrenchment exercises is the people that you're around really makes or breaks your experience there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just important that, find who you click with, who you feel like you can be, your genuine self around, in your workplace. And just learn to keep those relationships because such people are precious and you never know how, either they could help you down the line or you could even help them.
For me, right, the colleague that was let go in the first round, right, I think if I could do it all over again, I would love to get in touch and ask how are they.
Check in.
So at point of time, I was not sure whether is it right for me. Am I touching the right nerve, trying to follow up? Right. But sometimes I think don't need to think so much. Go and ask because you care about them, right? And just be a listening ear or a human, right?
Well, that's a good note to end on. Just remember that at the end of the day, you survive. Maybe things are tougher, but think of the people who got cut. Think of how you could be a friend to them, be another human to talk to for them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Work It Couch, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Work It Podcast. This is the Ask Work It segment of the show. If you have a question or you're struggling with something in the workplace, why not write to us? We may be able to help you out. Gerald, today we have a letter coming in from a listener called Sarah. She says that her big boss is known for being demanding and has high expectations. And she reports to her manager, who often forwards messages from the big boss directly to Sarah, especially messages where the big boss is scolding or criticizing him about the work. But it leaves Sarah feeling very uncomfortable. So she's asking, how do I maintain healthy boundaries when my manager regularly shares his frustrations with his bosses with the team?
Wow. I I don't know. For me, hearing what Sarah has to go through, a part of me kind of feels like I wouldn't know how to deal with my direct supervisor, given how he's telling me about his challenges managing his boss.
Yeah.
Right? There's this whole negative perception of like, why are you telling me this?
Yeah, this is your job. Why am I dealing with your job?
Exactly. Have you met someone like that before?
I have been in Sarah's position before. Let's put it like that.
Okay.
So I
Tell us.
had a manager who used to be on the same level as me, and then eventually he had the opportunity to get promoted to become my manager. But because we had been in the same position before, we were friends. We were pretty close. Even outside of work, we would go and grab a meal or two or drinks together. And that didn't go away when he became my manager. The problem is that meant that he would still continue complaining about work to me. Me who knew exactly how much more money he was earning with the added responsibilities. So it felt a bit tone deaf for him to be telling me like, wow, look at how many things I have to do. And I'm just there going like, for your pay, I would do it too. Yeah, so I can understand how Sarah is feeling a little bit.
Yeah, the way I see it is because both of you are friends.
Yeah.
You were friends first, then he became your boss, and then he started to download his troubles to you, and that's why you feel like, actually, I don't mind being your friend, but then things relating to work and your workplace challenges, be a boss.
Yeah.
Play your boss role.
Exactly. So
see.
I had to eventually draw a line in the sand. We're still great friends today. So I hope that was the right move. It seems like the right move.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for Sarah, it seems like a slightly different situation because I don't get the feeling that she's friends with her boss.
I think drawing the line, like you said, I think that's a good starting point.
So you would still do that even if you're not so close with your boss?
I will kind of feel like Sarah should maybe ask her supervisor on how he's feeling about these messages and perhaps even why is he even forwarding these things. I think knowing the reason could be quite useful because maybe the manager this is a blind spot of the manager, perhaps. Right? Maybe it's just a forward venting kind of a behavior and he just wants to know let the team know that he's suffering, he's tanking all this nonsense, and that they should be grateful to him. And if that's the case, then it's having the reverse effect entirely, right?
Right. He has a bit of a hero complex trying to show that.
Maybe. So I think maybe Sarah just asking the supervisor like what's up, with what's going on with these messages, and because on one hand it might make him look like he is maybe really doing a lot to shield the team from the big boss. On the other hand, it might make him look incompetent, and also the team might lose their confidence in his leadership.
How can she make sure that when it comes to work, let's talk about my work and not so much your problems with your boss? Like talk about things pertaining to my realm of responsibilities. How can she do that without coming off a bit too rude?
I feel like it's okay to just reach out to her boss to just ask like, can I just speak to you about something, and then after that when you're seated, best in person, don't do it over text, right? And then just ask your boss, your manager, like, I know that things are going not so well. It seems like it's tough. How are you holding up? Right? Firstly, like show him some concern as a human being first. And then after that, start to maybe share your own perspective on how things are. Because that way, at least you start to let your boss know that you're not picking on him and you're not creating a quarrel and argument or looking down on him, but just maybe showing concern for him. And then also after that, saying that as your role as an employee, right, you are glad to have a manager there to kind of shield things for you, and you are there to support your manager where possible, right? And the support that you need, right, is to have that clarity of what needs to be done as a result of upper management's instructions, and not so much of what management does not is unhappy about. I feel like that allows you as an employee to have more. You can better focus on what should you really be thinking about, because if today the big boss, right, gives an instruction and then maybe certain comments, it's for the whole team to get the work done, right? Do you really want to affect the whole team with that kind of negativity? That's one. But having said that as well, I do know of situations where sometimes it's just the boss, the supervisor is not competent. All right, there are circumstances like that before. I've seen there might be a reason for that harshness and firmness.
I see.
Yeah.
Because we're only getting one side of the story from this
Yes.
middle manager.
Yes, correct. And
Okay.
and if that's the case, then you know that there's some inconsistency in behavior. Then maybe the issue might be with your manager. And then if that's the case, right? If that's the case, then I think having this conversation will still be helpful. But also you have to take note that maybe things might not change very much.
Right, definitely. Okay. So I think we should start introducing a segment into our AMAs because I want to ask, is this a quittable situation?
Quittable situation.
Like, would you recommend quitting if your boss is like this? Or would you quit personally
No.
if your boss is like this?
No,
You wouldn't.
no.
Okay. So
No, don't. I think we said this before, right? Never
Yeah.
quit based on your boss's incompetence.
okay.
Right? Don't do that, because I feel like as much as possible, try to recover every situation as best, unless it becomes toxic on you and it's affecting your well-being, your sleep, and also your progression maybe. Then maybe you might want to think about elsewhere. But other than that, try to salvage as much as possible, lah.
Right.
Yeah. But
Okay.
would you think this is a quittable situation?
Personally, no, but that's because when I was in similar shoes as Sarah, all that happened is that eventually the ranting got too much. And so I just burst. I was like, you cannot be telling me all this.
Oh, so you're talking about the same guy?
Yeah.
earlier, lah. Okay,
So
the same friend.
I ended up just telling him, straight up, this is not right.
Mm.
I shouldn't be dealing with your problems. In fact, you should probably be asking me what other problems I have with my work as opposed to downloading everything on me.
True.
And, after a little bit of awkward silence, he acknowledged that he was, maybe doing a little too much because we were friends. And, I think we moved past from it. He was able to improve. So I wouldn't quit. But will I have an outburst? Maybe it's a 50-50.
Let's hope that Sarah doesn't reach the outburst. I think
Yeah.
having that courtesy, because that's a supervisor, right? Not friend.
Yeah.
Made for you, because friend, then you can have that outburst.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a grace to do that. Sarah, if you're watching this and you've listened to Gerald and my conversation, let us know how you go about things. Let us know how you eventually do with this boss. We would love to hear from you. If any of you have bosses who are similar to Sarah's and you can't seem to deal with them, just write to us. We are at cnapodcast@mediacorp.com.sg.
I'm Gerald.
I'm Nat, and remember, a good boss creates clarity, not anxiety.